भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, we are to start on the first shloka of the second chapter of the third Mundaka. To put it the other way around, we are now starting the last chapter of the Mundaka, the third Mundaka, the second chapter of the third Mundaka, and the last 11 shlokas. Verses. Of the last 11, the last 2 does not have much of a philosophical content. But the remaining nine, as I keep on telling you, they are informative, they are educative, instructive, and descriptive. What does it mean? It tells you certain ideas. He explains to you certain ideas which are absolutely unknown to you. That is why it becomes informative. When those informations are slowly assimilated, it becomes educative. Oh, this is how I have to discipline myself. This is how I have to educate myself. So it moves from information to education. And from education, you find practical instructions. This is the method that I educate myself, I discipline myself. And I must know where is my goal to the extent that I can understand as of now, however vague, however imaginative it may be. But I must have an understanding. So it is descriptive in a symbolic or a significant manner. So the last 9 shlokas, from which we start the first one today, these 9 shlokas are inspiring, enthralling, and extremely attractive for people who are really interested to know what is that stage when this small ego of mine, the petty ego of mine, has broken down all limitations with which we are attached because of our involvement and attachment in this world. We break it out and we merge with the cosmic oneness. And it is inspiring, enthralling. Now, just to keep up the link with the previous closing shloka, the last closing shloka of the previous chapter was that, look, a person like you and me, having gone through this drill, this procedure, this technique, having followed this methodology, has achieved that stage of oneness with the essence of the universe. What happens to him? because he has achieved that stage of oneness, he is the master of all forces acting in this nature. And as he has been a practitioner of truthfulness, whatever comes out of his mouth becomes reality, becomes true. If that is so, students like you and me and all of us, if we can find such a person by God's grace, and if we serve him and satisfy him and do my very best to look after him physically, because he has gone through this discipline, he must be in a tattered, shattered health condition. So for this physical comfort, if you can help him and serve him, in return, he will not be a recipient of your obligations. In return, he will bless you. And whatever the words of his blessings are, they will become true in your life. Apart from the history elsewhere, the history of the Ramakrishna organization from Sri Ramakrishna onwards, we have ample, endless examples how the blessing of Sri Ramakrishna worked in the lives of the children. And the blessings of the direct disciples, the realized souls, how their blessings became a reality in the lives of the people who had served them. That means a realized soul has to be served with heart and soul, with no other desire in mind but to realize the truth, realize that oneness of the universe. If you can do so, then that realized soul will bless you. And that blessing is absolutely inviolate, like thunder. It will work, it will happen in your lifetime. That was the closing shloka of the previous chapter. That idea is being converted further, continued further. Let us read the previous shloka first. Yam yam lokam manasa sambibhati vishuddha sattaha kamayate janstu kaman. 2 lines of the first verse. Yam yam loka manasa sambibhati. That person, whatever and whatever the desires of worldly life, in the pleasure in heaven, joy in heaven, in this, in that, and etc., etc. Whatever that may be, that Vishuddha Sattva, that realized soul, Kamayate Janscha Kaman, whatever desire may come up in his mind, they are no more for self-interest because he has gone beyond it. All these are available to him for others. He doesn't need anything. He is Parjapta Kama. Kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve pralyanti kama. You will get that shloka in few shlokas later. For them, they have nothing more to desire. But they have acquired that power, they have acquired that strength. How? because they have identified with this whole cosmos with Pancha Prana, Pancha Bhuta, Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Gyanendriya, and everything. So whatever they wish for, ask for, bless for, will happen. Yam yam loka manasa sambhivanti. Loka means places of achievement, different levels of awareness or achievement. And Vishuddha Satta, that realized soul, pure at heart. The literal meaning is extremely pure at heart, totally unpolluted. There's not a speck of dirt in him. What is the dirt? Desire for worldly things. He doesn't desire anything for himself. But because he has identified with the reality is under his control. Whatever he wishes, whatever he says, will happen. This is the conclusion. Vishuddha Satta Kamate Jangstu Kaman. This is his state of achievement. Tam tam lokam jayate tangscha kaman tasmat atmagyam archayet bhuti kama. So what happens? All these lokas, the level of awareness and achievement in the netherworld, in Swarga and etc., heaven and etc., or in this world, everything will happen if he so wills it. His willing is in the form of blessing or a prayer for you. Not for himself, for others. Therefore, tasmat, as because he is a man of such potential capacities, therefore, a person who wants nothing else but that goal, let him make up his mind to serve physically, emotionally that person, to give him as much comfort as is possible in this life. He will not be the recipient of it. His body will receive all your help. But he, knowing what you are doing for him, he will pray for you. Therefore, you serve such a realized soul, and you only expect and ask and pray for mukti and bhakti, liberation and faith. You will have it because he doesn't need anything for himself. He will say, may thou be blessed. May thou be victorious. May goodwill envelop you, and it will happen to you. This is what it is. That is how the previous chapter ended. Now, let us see the first shloka of the last chapter of the Mundaka Upanishad. It's a bit continuing, but from a different perspective. Sa Veda etat paramam brahmadhama. First line. Jatra vishvam nihitam bhati shubhram. Second line. Upasate purusham yesha akama te shukrametat ativartanti dhira. These are the 4 lines. Let me first, as usual, in a traditional manner, word-to-word meaning, paraphrased meaning of the sentence, and ultimately what is the intention of the author. Let us explain that to you. Ya etad vedah. He who has experienced this etat purusham, that entity who is in me, who is infinite, absolute, immutable, infinite, eternal, absolute, immutable, he who has Veda experienced. He who has experienced that, or experienced this etat, as pointed by your index finger, etat Veda. He who has experienced that. How does he experience? Paramam Brahmadhama. It is the abode of Brahman, and the whole cosmos is on him, superimposed on him. Without that substratum, no superimposition is possible. He knows this entity, Brahman, Etat, Paramam, Purusham, that is, he who resides in you. Never forget that equation, the literal meaning of the word Purusha. Purishayanat, Purnatvad. Two aspects. He who resides in you, in this body, and who is Purna, totally integrated. There is nothing beyond it. There is nothing beyond it. Time is conceived within it. Space is conceived within it. Mutation or changes are conceived within it. Everything within it, and the whole cosmos has a substratum as isness. It is. The whole world, the whole cosmos is saturated with the concept of isness. And that isness is inseparable from awareness. I am aware it is. Awareness and existence isness is never separable. Never separable. So, that is Sat Sarup, Chit Sarup, Ananda Sarup, Atma, Purusha. He is to be found within yourself, not without. So, the search is subjective. Who am I? What am I? Is the search. So, a person, Etad Brahma Paramam Dhama Veda. Etat Paramam Dhama Brahma Ya Vedad. Veda. He experiences this oneness of the universe based on the concept of Sat Sarup, Chit Sarup, Ananda Swarup, Atma subjectively, Brahman objectively. This is what is his description of his experience. Yatra, Yasmin, in which or on which, Nikhilam Vishwam Bhati Shubhram, because of its pure effulgence, awareness comes to human being. I am aware. Awareness is in the human, and it is absolutely untainted, unblemished, undirtied, unpolluted. Shubhram. Now, Akhilam Vishwam Nihitam Yatra. Vishwam, Akhilam means all spreading, Nikhilam. Now, how is it? You keep on saying it rests on it, it is superimposed on it, and etc., etc., etc. Let me go to the stock example, so make this idea absolutely clear to you. What is the concept of adhyaropaha, adhyaropaha, and apavada? What is it? Now, the stock example is when the light is not very bright, it is darkening, dusk, you are walking down, all of a sudden you see something which resembles the shape and the size and the form of a snake. As because you know what a snake is, as because you know the snake bite is fatal, you see that, you don't see it second time with a deeper attention. You take it for granted you have seen a snake. Where did you see the snake? By law of similarity, that thing appears to you as a snake and you accept it as a true snake, and because you accept it as a true snake, your behavior pattern undergoes a tremendous change. You howl, you shout, you jump away and call for help. A snake, a snake, a snake, a poisonous snake. Wait a minute. Neighbors hear your howling and shouting. They come well fortified, well equipped with sticks and etc., etc., a lantern, stick and etc. And you say, that's a snake. And they take you by your word and they want to kill the snake. After 3 or 4 beating, some wise person says, Are, had it been an animate object, a snake, it would have writhed in pain. It would have twisted and turned because hitting is killing it, breaking its bone. It would have writhed with pain. There is no animate reflex on that thing. Look again. They prod it with a stick, look at a lantern, and they say, dear me, we have been fooled. It is a piece of rope. This is the incident. A stock example of the Vedantins. I am being a little more descriptive or dramatic. Now, when you saw a snake, did you see partially a snake and a partially a rope? Your ignorance of that true thing, ignorance of the existence of the rope there, you impose from your brainwave a snake there. The snake was not pervading on that rope percentage-wise. It is either total or not total. Either it is totally present or it is not totally present. For us, it is totally present. That means the imaginative snake spread all through the length and breadth and diameter of the rope. There was not a corner where it was a rope for me. The snake spread wholly. Similarly, as far as I am concerned today, that ignorance of the true nature of the rope, that ignorance has totally saturated me. And through my imagination, I create a snake and I put it on the rope, I superimpose it on the rope. Dimensionally, the snake and the rope are the same. Similarly, this whole cosmos is an adhyaropa, superimposition on the reality which is here, which is everywhere, which is complete in itself, purna, integrated and complete in itself. I keep on seeing things because of my ignorance. So when he says, Yatra Akhilam Vishwam Nihitam Idam, that is, in that this whole world is superimposed and imagined on it, and I am, with the help of my ignorance, is creating all this falsehood around me. And I take it to be real. Why? The reality of the rope percolates into the snake. That is why the snake looks real. And your behavior pattern, because of the sense of reality, undergoes a change. And when that so-called ignorant reality is washed out, when you look at it the second time with introspection and you say, oh, it is a rope. So the created snake permeates the whole length and breadth and diameter of that rope. Similarly, this diversity of the world is created by our ignorance, and that ignorance permeates the whole world. We have to know what is our true original nature. So, this is the essential meaning of the first two lines. Let me read again and you follow it. Sa Veda etat paramam brahma dhama. Dhama is the abode, the rope. Paramam brahma is the rope. And on that, we have created this diverse world, yatra, on which akhilam vishwam nihitam, it is superimposed on that. Upasate je purusha hi atma kama, atma kama yesha purusha jah upasate, a person desirous of achieving that goal, who worships and serves and takes care of such a realized soul, sa te shukrametat ativartanti dhira. They go beyond this cycle of life and birth, this physical body, subtle body, physical body, gross body, subtle body, this endless cycle of birth and death, te ativartanti, they go beyond that. By being well composed, well poised, based in serenity, equanimity, tranquility, sobriety, coming from your knowledge, your experience of the reality. This is what happens. So it's a continuation of the previous shloka. There you are depending on their blessings. Here, by your own effort, you reach that because of setting him as an example, and you work out your own destiny. This is the difference between the two. Why? If only that blessing is there, you will lose your incentive to discipline yourself, to sharpen and hone and polish your faculties. No question of laziness. To offset that possibility, I'll depend on my God's grace. Nothing doing. You have to work hard to achieve that. That is the essence of this shloka. So, sa veda etat paramam dhama brahma jatra idam vishwam nihitam. And though it is Vishwam is covering up, but it itself bhati subhram, asti bhati priya, according to the Dvaitists. And Advaitists say it is pure existence, absolute awareness, and untainted divine ecstatic joy. So, it is all within you. Now, be totally desireless, akama, and be totally desireless. Don't throw the baby with the bathtub. Desireless here means the total energy that is consumed by so many desires. Let only one desire remain. I must achieve my goal. Mumukshuttam is the desire, which doesn't fall under the category of worldly desires. So, akama here means let the desire to reach that goal be with you, but get rid of all other desires. And if you worship as a hero of your life such a man, emulate all he has to say, put it into practice in your life, you will definitely go beyond the chain of birth and death. So the previous shloka highlighted the blessings of the divine is required. And here, lest you say, I have nothing more to do, that is why he is highlighting, you have to work hard to achieve that goal by making such a realized soul your goal of life. And never, never, never forget him. He is always with you. When you say he has left you, he has not. You have forgotten him. That is a fact of life. He is always there. He is everlasting. Your awareness of him was lost. Your fault. Why? Because you are attached to so many other things. So, dears, let us move to the next shloka. He is now trying to explain to us the logic of the situation. What role does desire play in our life? What important role desires of the world and worldly things, desire of Swarga and other areas, what havoc do they play in our life? And how we should be very, very, very careful about that. What does he say? Kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha kamabhir jayate tatra tatra sa kamabhir jayate tatra tatra. Wait a minute. Let us stop here. What does he say? Yaha Purushaha, like you and me, non-realized soul. We want to, but we have not yet mastered ourselves, disciplined ourselves. We have not honed ourselves or polished ourselves. we are now in the middle of this worldly life. He says here, whatever and whatever you desire in your life, intensely and strongly, that desire will force you to do some act and deed which you think you will be able to have that desire fulfilled. Kaman yah kamayate. Kaman is plural of desire. Desires endless. A flow of endless desires, or an endless flow of desires. Ya Mandamana, he thinks too highly of it. A wonderful car, a wonderful this. Oh, it's wonderful. Manyamana means seeing the good things of your life which you are desiring. Kamanya kamayate manyamana gunan anuchintayantaha. That is, in Sanskrit, there's a very, very beautiful way of understanding, a synonym. Manyamana is, in English, you appreciate the merits of that desire. Otherwise, desire will not be there. If you see some demerit, you will run away. So you are appreciating the merits of the desire of a thing that you want to desire, or that you are desiring. Kamanya kamayate, the desire that you desire to achieve. How you see something very good in it, enjoyable in it, nice in it. You see the better part of it, the positive aspect of it. What happens? Because of that desire, it motivates you to go there, to achieve that. You desire to learn Sanskrit. So, what do? You go, you register yourself in an online class teaching Sanskrit, or you physically attend a class. Your desire has motivated you to do so. Why? You see profit in it. You see some good in it. Kaman yaha kamayate manyamana. What is the end result of this? You will, because of that sense of desire, you will motivate yourself seeing the better aspect of it, and your motivation will lead you to do things and perform in a way that you can get it. Sa kamabhir jayate tatra tatra. In the worldly life, you act, and if you are very desirous of eternal peace in heaven, you have to do Agnihotra Yaga every day, twice a day, without failure, and you do it whole day, you will go and live in heaven. These are all statements in our rituals. If you want to do that, you will go to heaven. You will not get mukti. You will not be liberated. Why? You don't want it. Whatever you want, you get it because you work for it. As simple and as logical, rational it is. I strive to achieve things which I have a love for. Why do I love? I think it is beneficial to me. That is why I am prone to it. Nobody can stop me. I am mad after it. If it is so, you will land yourself there. As simple as that. Cause and its effect, inevitable law, infallible law of cause and its effect. Kamanya kamayate manyamana sa hi kamabhir. Because of that desire, jayate, he is born over and over again in that state. From the worldly point of view, he takes you up to the general feeling of enjoying in heaven. So he says that. Parjapta kamastu kritatmanastu parjapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve pralyanti kama. Oh dear me, he has now painted to you in a realistic brush, absolutely logical, infallible as far as the infallible logic of cause and effect is concerned, infallible law of cause and effect. In the worldly life, this is what's happening to you. In the other life which you want in the heavens, this is what will happen to you. You are creating your own destiny. You are building up your own future because of your sense of desiring. And whatever you desire, you think it is the best, and that is how you are motivated. So according to your motivation, you are creating your own destiny and you are achieving that. Now look what happens to the other man. Contrarily, Parjapta kamasya kritatmanastu iha eva sarve kama pravilanti. Pravilyanti. Iha eva sarve pravilyanti kama. There you are. Parjapta kamasya. What is that? You have seen through the ball game. I'm tired of this unending farce, as Swamiji said. Tired of this unending farce. You have seen through this. And this dream does please no more. Ever running, never reaching. Nor even a distant glimpse of shore. It's a translation of one of our poems in Sanskrit. Swamiji says, Parjapta kama means a person who has seen these segmental desires, small, petty, limited desires. Multi-billionaire, be a billionaire. Billionaire, be a multi-billionaire. There's no end to it. It is always measured. But a person now has been told that there is an immeasurable thing which is all permeating, all pervading, which is beyond time, beyond space. It is your true original nature, not hidden behind cloud nine. It is you. Be desirous of that. Paryapta kama. Paryapta kama means that which is all permeative, pervasive. There's not a speck of space where he is not, just like there's not a speck of space where the snake is not. So there's not a speck of space in this world where the rope is not. Adhisthana, that is it. That is the substratum. Parjapta kama, that is, your desire now has broken its boundaries, worldly desires or desires of the nether world. You are now desirous of that which is limitless, infinite, eternal, immutable, absolute. Paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu. He has now learned to manage himself by having only one all-consuming, burning desire to be one with myself, to know myself. What happens? Because of that discipline, Sarva kama ihaiva pranyanti. All other desires are unable to trouble him. He has only one desire, to be one with God. This is how the second shloka is to be understood. The last shloka of the previous chapter and the first shloka of this chapter is how do we take a benefit by serving and being very emotionally close to a realized soul. Because whatever he blesses you will happen today, tomorrow, or day after. Lest you get lazy, immediately it is being followed up by the second shloka. Don't be so cozy. You have to work hard, and this is what you have to work hard about. Jaetad Vedam Paramam Brahmadhama. And then he tells you, defines to you what is the primary discipline of a monk's life. You'll see next shloka, Jataya Suddha Satta. The next shloka says, this is what it is. There has to be a desire which is all pervasive, all permeative, which is infinite, which is eternal, which is immutable, which is absolute. That is a desire, and where it is to be found? In the cave of my heart. I am that. So dears, we have covered 2 shlokas. The next shloka is how it is to be achieved. The next 2 shlokas will teach you what is the practice which you have to follow to reach that goal. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much. We'll meet again during our next lesson.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.